Welcome back, Cyber Explorers. It's Alfie, and in this video we'll explore together with this step-by-step guide how to install Linux Manjaro 24, separate disk, standalone. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First, let's clarify the title. Separate disk means that we will install Manjaro on its own disk. So get your disk ready and ensure you don't need anything on that disk because it will be formatted. Standalone means there will be no other operating system connected to the PC during the Manjaro installation process. So if you want to install Manjaro this way, and you have a Windows installation on the PC already, disconnect the Windows disk. After you finish the Manjaro installation, reconnect the Windows disk, and you will be able to switch between the systems, Windows and Manjaro, from the boot menu, or from the BIOS or UEFI or other ways. This way we ensure that the grub bootloader will be installed on the Manjaro disk and not on the Windows disk. Second, you will need a Manjaro installation media, such as a Manjaro bootable USB drive. Our video on how to create a Manjaro bootable USB drive with Rufus might help you. The link is in the description below. Third, you will need to insert the USB drive into the computer, then restart the PC and access the BIOS or UEFI. Adjust the boot priority to boot from the USB drive, or you can enter the boot menu and boot from the USB drive directly. Our video on how to boot from a USB drive might help you. The link is in the description below. Fourth, since Manjaro Linux does not support secure boot out of the box, make sure to disable it from the BIOS or UEFI menu. Our video on how to enable or disable secure boot in BIOS might help you. The link is in the description below. When you first boot from the Manjaro Linux installation media, choose boot with open source drivers, or boot with proprietary drivers and hit enter. At the Welcome to Manjaro screen, click on Launch Installer, or you can click on the Install Manjaro Linux icon later. Choose the installer language. Then click Next. Choose your time zone. Then click Next. Choose your keyboard layout. Then click Next. As mentioned, we will be installing Manjaro on its own disk. Note that disks in Linux will appear as SDA, SDB, etc., or NVMe0N1, NVMe1N1, etc., and partitions will show as SDA1, SDA2, etc., or NVMe0N1P1, NVMe0N1P2, etc. Now select the storage device, check Erase Disk, choose the swap type or no swap, select the file system, and click Next. Manjaro will partition the disk automatically. Alternatively, you can choose manual partitioning, then click Next. If you have a used disk, you might see a few existing partitions. Select each partition one by one and click Delete. If you have a new disk, it will show up without free space or a partition table. Click on New Partition Table and choose MBR or GPT. It's recommended to use GPT with UEFI and MBR with BIOS. The easiest partitioning scheme on a non-GPT disk is simply a root partition and a swap partition. If the disk is GPT type, you must also add a BIOS boot or an EFI partition, depending on the boot mode of your BIOS, legacy BIOS, or UEFI. If you are planning to create a swap partition, then allocate the system partition with max size minus swap size. The swap partition should be the same size as your RAM, or double it if you have low RAM. Note, the swap partition is not required. You can set up a swap file instead later if you choose no swap during the installation process. Now select the free space and click Create to create the first partition, which is the EFI system partition, ESP. Choose the size and make it 500 MB to 1 GB. Choose the file system as FAT32. Set the mount point as boot EFI and select the boot flag. Click OK. Next select the free space and click Create to create the second partition, which is the system partition. Choose max size or custom size, and make it max size, minus swap size if you are planning on creating a swap partition. Choose the file system as ext4. Set the mount point as / or root, and click OK. Then select the free space and click Create to create the third partition, which is the swap partition. Choose max size, select the file system as Linux swap, and click OK. Finally click Next, and enter your full name, username, computer name, and password. Confirm the password. Check the two options log in automatically, and use the same password for the administrator account. Then click Next. Now choose whether to install FreeOffice, LibreOffice, or no Office Suite, and click Next. Review your choices, and click Install. Confirm with Install now, and wait for the installation to finish. After the installation finishes, simply restart your computer. And that's it for today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and don't forget to activate the notification bell so you won't miss out on any new uploads. Thank you for watching. Until next time, see you later.